Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Not too bad. How's your week been?
Phew, long.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
just
feels
feel
like the weeks are
exhausted.
getting longer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
just feel
know.
absolutely exhausted. I went on a bus for the first time today.
Oh, did you really? How
Yeah,
was that?
it was okay. It was okay.
Okay,
I mean, it was pretty quiet. Everyone was wearing masks. Felt
well,
really
that's good.
safe. So yeah, it was a positive step forward, I think.
And is it all socially distanced?
No, people could
No.
sit where they wanted,
Oh,
but it
really?
was
That's
it was qu-
interesting.
it was quite enough that it wasn't an issue for me.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, moving away from life's real life horrors that we're surrounded by every day that some
Mm.
people are still not taking seriously, that just absolutely baffles me. Let's move on to some fictional horror with Netflix brand new series, Ratched. So we kind of previewed this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Whole series is now dropped. I've watched the first two episodes.
Oh man, I knew you would. I've only watched
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I couldn't help it, man. I couldn't help it.
Do you know? I really wanted to. Me and my wife were watching it last night, and I said, "Shall we? Yeah, let's watch another one." But no, it didn't happen, and I couldn't bring myself to watch it without her.
Well, that's why I had to. That's why we had to record a little bit later, actually, because I said to my girlfriend, "Oh, me and Chris are going to do this for the podcast," and she really wants to watch it as well. She's a big Sarah Paulson fan, big American Horror Story fan, and there's no way I was going to be able to watch this without her. So yeah, you kind of have her to thank that I didn't binge the whole thing as well, because I really got into this, and she went to go to bed after the second episode. So I was like, all right, I've got to pause it. I've got to do something else, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, man, what did you think?
I mean, what can I say? We knew it was going to be good. I think it's fantastic. As I say, I've only watched the first episode, but I'm completely enthralled by it. And it's funny, as we were watching it last night, I remember getting about halfway, maybe three-quarters of the way through, and having a conversation saying that, I don't entirely understand everything that's going on, the motivation, but it doesn't matter because it's so good. It wants me to stick with it and find out what's
Yeah.
going on. Like, I wasn't lost in a bad way, if that makes sense. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
Sarah Paulson was obviously fantastic, and the trailer didn't really do it. The colors in it and
Oh,
some of the
incredible.
shots are incredible. There's a shot of like down the corridor of the
Yeah.
insane asylum, and it just reminded me so much of like Stanley Kubrick
Yeah. Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
I think
There's actually a lot of
absolutely.
that. Like as she's driving up to what is
Yes,
the
yeah,
like motel she's staying at, there's a lot of shots there that are very reminiscent of the opening of The Shining.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, the colors of this, the set design, the costumes.
Well, I mean, when she was driving up, the color of her car, I wasn't sure if it was real or it had been enhanced. It
Yeah.
just looked so amazingly vibrant. I mean, obviously it was a vibrant color anyway, but I looked at it and I thought, is that real? Have
Is
they
that, yeah, yeah.
enhanced that
Have they
somehow?
enhanced
I
it? Yeah.
don't know.
There's just some great choices with, like, especially with like the costume that she first walks into.
Is
The
that the yellow one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And then that just pops against everything within the hospital or the asylum because it's all kind of grey and white and, not very colourful in the
Mm,
set
mm.
design there, but that is definitely by design because then she just pops and just stands out from it all. And while we're on the subject, Sarah Paulson, man, I know you just touched on it. She is incredible, and it's like I always like her. Right? I always like her in
Yeah,
anything. But
she's
in this,
incredible.
oh my god, she is so
She's
good.
perfect for it, isn't she?
Just the style she's playing this with. There's a lot in there that reminds me of Heath Ledger playing the Joker because you're never sure if anything she's saying is the truth or not.
Interesting. Yeah,
Because she's
that is
always,
interesting.
whatever she's saying, she's just trying to get
Yeah,
something out of it for herself. Like
yeah.
there's her motivation is purely for her desires and her wants and her needs. She doesn't care about these people around her. So you never really know if what she's saying
Mm.
is the truth or not. It's incredible. And yeah, no spoilers, but some of the stuff I'm touching on kind of pays off a little bit more come the second episode, and it's great. It's
Yeah, and I
really
think
great.
as someone who's unreliable to believe in, there's a scene where she's talking to, I think he might be an Italian patient, and she gives him this whole story about how she can empathize with him, and I genuinely thought that was the case. But then it turns out he was just another thing to use to get what she wanted again. So I
So
thought
good.
that was I completely believed that was the case. Two things I weren't expecting actually. The first one was, as an episode as a whole, it wasn't particularly graphic, but right at the beginning,
Yeah.
there's quite a bit of blood that's quite graphic.
Yeah.
You know, there's a scene with the toilet, and I wasn't expecting that at all.
No. No,
Um,
definitely not.
and also, I wasn't. You watch the trailer, you watch the first episode, and you get, okay, you know, she obviously, there's something going on there, but there's a scene where she invites a neighbor, I assume it is, in the, I don't know what they call them out in America, but you know,
Yeah.
like a where she's staying, motel, is it?
Motel, yeah.
And she invites him back to her room, and what she
It's
asks him to do is quite unhinged, and his reaction says says
it's
it all
great,
as
isn't
well.
it?
Yeah,
It's
it's really like uh, you just weren't expecting it. There's so much that I just wasn't expecting.
See, I before watching this, I planned on going back and watching One Flew Over
Yeah, so did
Cuckoo's Nest.
I didn't know.
No, I didn't, and I kind of regret it a little bit because I'm watching this and going, I'm not sure if Nurse Ratchet was like this bad. Was she? Like, was
She
she
was just
this
like a
crazy?
tyrant. Like
She
she
was
ran
power hungry, right?
shit. Yeah, and she domineered everyone, including the other staff, I think.
Yeah,
I
but
can't.
this is more
It's
than
been a
power
long time.
hungry.
It wasn't like this. I'm
No,
pretty sure of that.
no, because this plays almost as if, if she takes a different path, she could be one of the patients in that asylum.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The stuff she's suffering with, the stuff she's going through. Yeah,
And
man, I can't
I-
wait to see where this goes.
I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily want it to link up. You know,
Oh no, yeah, I completely agree.
I would have said it would be nice. It would have been nice if there was if they do have a few links, but it's so strong on its own merit. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I think it's really really good.
Well, I think they've already loosely linked it. I think with some of the nurses, I think might be in the film. In episode 2, there is a character that I'm pretty sure links into a character from the film. I'm
Mm.
not sure if that's confirmed. I'd probably have to look up the character name and everything on IMDb. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know where that's going. So when you see that, you're gonna know. But yeah, I imagine this is going to be one that we're going to talk about a little bit like we've done with Lovecraft Country. And yeah, man, what a great time
It was nice
for
as well to
TV.
see one of the American Horror Story co-stars in there as well. I can't remember his name, but who?
Oh, the killer.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Finn Whitrock.
I mean, he's great as well,
Yeah,
and
he
I,
is
I always liked when
amazing.
they had screen time together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, man, the cast of this. You've got Sarah Paulson, Finn Whitrock, Cynthia Nixon turns up from Sex in the City fame, and
Yep.
not a huge Sex in the City fan, but I don't really know much of what she's done before then. I think I've seen her pop up in one or two films, but nothing major. So it's quite nice to see, quite a heavyweight from TV coming in and doing stuff. Then you've got people like Judy Davis, Amanda Plummer, I believe her name is, who is
Mhm.
the lady who runs the motel, who is maybe my favorite character.
Yeah, she was quite cool, wasn't she?
She's so good, isn't she? She's
Yeah.
just so like you're that scene you're on about with the guy in her room, and then when he leaves and she's just standing outside the door.
Doesn't she say something like, "Oh, that was disappointing," or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Or is that all you've got? Or something like that. It was just oh my god, so good. And I mean, we haven't even spoke about Sharon Stone yet, right?
Is she in it?
No, well, she's in it, but she hasn't turned up yet.
Oh, I
So
was gonna say, I
I'm
thought I must have missed that.
no, no, she hasn't turned up yet. So I'm
Oh wow.
very interested to see when she turns up. Yeah, I know she's in it. She was in the trailer, I believe. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be interesting.
I'm starting to remember this now.
But
We don't
what
know
a
what part she plays, do we?
no. She's got a name on IMDb, I believe, but it's not one I recognise.
Do you know who the guy is who plays the doctor who runs the facility? Because he looks so familiar to me.
Yeah, he is. Oh, what's his name?
There's a real group of actors who, they're you know they've been in loads of films that you've seen and you just can't place their
Oh,
name.
he is.
I'm sure I've seen him.
He's been in loads of stuff. His name, it's like John something. I can't think.
That's quite easy to remember. John.
John Brions, I think, something like that, But he's been loads. He's been in American Horror Story. I'm pretty sure.
That might be where I've
I'm
seen him
pretty
from.
sure. Yeah, he's been in American Horror Story. He's been in a couple of films. He's great, man. He is so good as Dr. Hanover, is it?
That's it. Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, he is so good. Like he
I
is
think
really good.
you know, if we can, I'm sure we will. We should try and watch the series in time for next week's episode.
Oh yeah.
That'd be quite good.
Yes, definitely. They're all great. The cast is just outstanding for this. You know, it's just real great character actors. Yeah, man. I definitely think this is one we'll touch on. And like I said, what a great time for TV, right?
Oh man,
Amazing time for TV.
I'm starting to drown in things to watch.
It does become a bit of a problem.
I'm just scooting around, you know, a bit here, a bit there.
All right. So from one show that we've spoke about before and anticipated to another show okay, that was just a door in my flat just slamming shut. That was
Okay, please tell me you're not alone, because
I am alone, and that yeah, okay.
that's a bit.
Let's carry on.
Is this because? So we should probably say before we went on air, you said you could hear someone walking around behind me.
Yeah, I could. Yeah,
This could all be to do with the fact that we're going to touch on a slightly paranormal thing later. Very strange.
it's weird, isn't it? It's kind of been set up.
Yeah.
It's very weird. But yeah, that was crazy. That threw me off a little bit. So where was I? Oh yeah, from one show that we spoke about before and was hotly anticipated for us, for another one, which is the Amazon series slash movies. You know, there's going to be 4 movies dropping. We've now got trailers for all 4 of these films, and I was blown away. So yeah,
I mean, I was watching them and I was thinking, okay, there's going to be a weak one.
Yeah.
There isn't.
No.
They look so good, and I tell you something else. This is why we need diverse voices, because all
Completely
4
agree.
look so original.
So
You know,
unique.
there's nothing here that I feel like I've seen before. I really genuinely am so excited about this project that they're doing, because obviously there's going to be 4 more as well. There's 8 in total, but we're getting these 4 in October. They look great. They look really, really good.
So what? So out of the 4, what stood out to you? Is there one that you're like, okay, or 2? One or 2?
There is. I mean, they're all really good. They all look fantastic. I think the Evil Eye looks very interesting. I thought,
Yeah,
purely because I've never seen a horror with like an Indian heritage to it. So that looks
bringing in like
very
Indian folklore and
yeah,
Indian myths and stuff.
yeah.
That's very unique, and I really, really like the way that looks.
The one that just pips it for me that I'm really looking forward to is Black Box. That
Okay, interesting.
I just feel like that looks like such a great idea.
Yeah,
Of you know, I like the way they've done it. I mean, it seems feasible. It's a kind of hypnosis, you know, trying to bring this guy's memory back. He's had a terrible car crash. His short-term memory's gone. His long-term memory's hazy. He goes through this process to try and get his memories back. And I think he encounters some horrible things in his memories, and it's kind of left open. It's like it doesn't feel like it's anything paranormal. It's more he's facing
yeah.
this monster in his own mind, and I just found that incredibly powerful. It just really struck with me. As much as I think the Evil Eye looks very unique, and I thought they all look great. This one just particularly resonated with me. It's one that I find an interesting idea to explore.
Yeah, I completely agree on all of that, and that there isn't a bad one in the bunch. I watched these trailers the other day when this dropped, and then I watched them again just before we come on air, just because I genuinely enjoyed the trailers that much. Oddly enough, I would say Black Box is
Your least interested.
yeah, maybe purely because it does remind me a little bit of Black Mirror. It
Yeah,
is kind of that like technology looking at, and that's not a bad thing. And I tell you what, I think Black Box does very well that kind of enhances what Black Mirror does is it does look like it's taking more straightforward horror elements and injecting it with those.
Yep.
So like you said, I don't think there will be like real monsters and stuff. I think it is more in his mind. But yeah, I think they're going to play up the horror elements a little bit more than Black Mirror would. So I'm interested in that. I think sticking out for me is probably Evil Eye. I want to say Evil Eye just because it, like you said, that I just love that mythology. I love the way they're really, really working that in there. And they're also playing with generations and how generations' opinion of superstitions and beliefs kind of change. You know,
And I kind of felt like in watching the trailer, I wasn't sure, is this the daughter's story or the mum's story? And I think it's maybe the mum's story. And at the beginning of the trailer, I didn't think that way.
Yeah. And I think that's really clever. I think that's really smart. And really, I think that is my top pick. But coming in a very close second, and it's mainly because of the actors in it, but I do really like the setup of it, is The Lie. That was the first trailer.
I like this. It reminded me a little bit just of. Did you ever see a film called Insomnia?
Yes. Yeah.
It just kind of had that aesthetic to me
Yeah.
of being, the wilderness,
Yeah.
an obsession as well. And a story about what lengths parents would go to protect their child, even if possibly she has done something very, very, very bad. But again, looks really good.
Well, that's what I like about it is it's the lengths they're willing to go to protect her if she's done something bad, but slash an accident. But then through the course of the trailer, you start to realize as the audience and the parents start to realize, actually, was this an accident, or is there something within this child that causes her to do these horrible things? And I love that because I love films or shows or whatever it is, books that kind of try and explore the why are serial killers or people that do these heinous acts, how do they get to where they are? And I think that's why we're all fascinated with them, right? Because there's like I have a real love-hate relationship with kind of true crime and stuff like that from the point of view of I absolutely love true crime. If I'm honest, I've got loads of true crime books. I watch every documentary possible, but I always do feel a little bit sad sometimes when we are just completely obsessed with like serial killers and not the victims.
They're not. It's not an easy. It's almost like a guilty thing to
Yeah,
enjoy, isn't it?
it is. It is. But with that said, there is something very fascinating to the audience because the audience is perceived as quote unquote normal people who in their right mind wouldn't dare even think of how you would commit these heinous acts or do something that would cause death to another human being. Yet there are some people that can, it almost seems like they're born to be that way.
Yeah.
And there's been so many studies over the years of, do these people just come from horrible backgrounds? Sometimes where they blame it on a parent and a parent was very overprotective and they come from, but then even then, how many kids come from situations like that don't turn out to be serial killers?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think this is kind of touching on that a little bit. Like she looks like she comes from a very almost perfect suburban family. It's all going quite well. They've got a lovely house. They've got a nice car. Her dad's taken her out into the country. Her parents obviously will protect her to no end. So there doesn't seem to be any issue there. But then there are certain quotes in the trailer that make me think, I don't know, like, is there a little bit more to this? Like the dad says a line about them playing a game. He says about when she lies to the dad of the girl that's gone missing, presumed dead. He says, like, why did you lie? And she says, well, I learned from the best. So, I just think there's so much to unpack. It was just that one trailer where I was left going, oh, I'm not really sure where this is going to go. Like, at
Yeah,
all.
I kind of felt that as well. I felt that even if the story does unfold as the trailer leads you to believe, it's going to be great. However, I did have a feeling that something's not right. There's something more going on that we can't really see yet. I just
Yeah.
felt like not necessarily quite a Sixth Sense twist, but just something going on that
Yeah.
we won't know until near the end of the film.
Yeah. Completely agree. Completely agree. And then should we just touch a little bit on the fourth one that we haven't? So what we touch on, we touch on Black Box, Evil Eye, and The Lie. And then the fourth one is
Nocturne.
Nocturne.
Yeah,
Nocturne, yeah.
Nocturne. Yeah, it's remind me actually a lot of Black Swan. That kind of
Yes. Yes.
obsession with being the best,
Yes.
but throws in some good old possession demonology as well in there by the
Yeah.
looks of it. But
Well, oddly enough, despite what I've said about the other three, I think Nocturne could turn out to be my favourite film of the lot. And I say that because the cast is outstanding. Those actresses that are kind of front and centre, I've seen them in a few things. They're incredible. But the makers behind this are not only the makers behind Get Out, but also the producers behind Whiplash, which is one of my favourite films of the last 10 years or so.
mm,
So if they can tap into that, wow, like
it
could
could
be
be
something
because
special.
I think in a lot of ways it's probably the trailer had the least bells and whistles to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be weaker than the others. It just means that they could be holding back a bit more. So yeah, it could be the
Exactly.
surprise one out of the lot of them.
Could be interesting, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to this, man. I think this is going to be absolutely incredible.
And not long either. The first two
No,
are the 6th, isn't it? I
yeah,
think it's the
yeah, the
6th of
6th
October.
of October, and then the others drop, I think, a week later.
It
And
is, yeah.
then
Next year,
the,
I think.
I think it's early though. I think it's early
It is, yeah.
2021.
It's
Yeah.
it's
So
it's not long.
we ain't got long to watch all of these. So yeah, I'm really interested. It hasn't. Has there been any run times announced? Are these like full feature length films, or are
I
they
was
hour
wondering
long?
that. I did.
Yeah.
This is bizarre that you would say that because I was thinking that as well. I was thinking, I wonder, there's something about them that feels like they're going to maybe be around an hour.
I agree. I agree. I think they might be around an hour. I don't know why, but yeah, I feel the same.
And I have to say as well that it's been such a shitty year. And just the whole cinema experience and lots
Yeah.
of films being delayed. And then now we're getting towards the back end of the year, and bang, we're getting what look to be some really, really great films that we
Yeah.
can watch at
Yeah.
home. I
Yeah.
think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is certainly the way to be. I know that even more so than in the UK, there's a lot of people in the US that are calling just for a lot of stuff to go on VOD, and because they're not comfortable to go to cinemas yet, which
Mm,
again I completely understand.
yeah, I get
So
that. Get that.
yeah, I'm interested to see where stuff starts to land and what they start doing. I mean, one thing we should touch on. I don't know if we touched on it last episode, but obviously they've started moving a lot now, and yeah,
Yep.
Candyman has finally been
We found out this week, didn't we?
moved. Yeah, so
Unsurprising, really.
no, unsurprising, and and Nia DaCosta, the director, she put out a statement saying that the cinema is the only way she wanted that film to come out because she wanted it. It's meant to be a film about community and bringing people together. So she wants a cinema experience for that, and you got to respect that.
I have to say as well, slight criticism of the way they've approached releasing this film, Candyman. I think they could use this time very well to just do a bit more with marketing because I still
Yeah,
felt it's just flying under the radar a little bit.
yeah,
I just feel like they could do some creative things, just do a bit more to build a buzz on it, a buzz.
yeah,
But I just, because I didn't know, I'd completely forgotten it was coming out until we started talking about it.
yeah.
I'd completely forgotten.
I wonder if they're saving like the majority of their marketing budget for like the couple of weeks before it comes out,
Yeah,
and then they're just
it
gonna
could
like,
be that they foresaw this as a very strong
yeah,
possibility, so held back. It could
they've
be,
held
yeah.
back on everything. Yeah, gonna be interesting, man. I'm interested to see where that goes, and I think that's a great bridge onto our next topic. So this is a indie trailer I sent you. Yeah, man, I'll just let you take this one. What did you think
Ah,
of what do you think of this?
just wow! I want to see it immediately. it ticks all the boxes for me. It's the kind of thing. From a personal perspective, I'm very interested. I'm going to get a bit nerdy now, but I'm very interested in the flow of time and the way that
Yeah,
works. And to find a film that is kind of exploring that is just, I find it very attractive. Now you throw into that, so we already know it's a film that's playing around with time. From what I can see, this guy is constantly exploring the idea that the flow of time isn't real. It's not what we think it is, and it appears, at least, that in the film he's visiting different places, different times, possibly against his will. The other thing that I love about it is they're just throwing in the whole a kind of real kind of folk horror as well,
yeah,
because you've got some very old kind of like pagan practices in there as well with one of the places he goes to, and I feel like it's hitting a lot of things that I really enjoy. And I mean, I have to be honest, I want to see this more than the four films we just
yeah. I completely
discussed.
agree. I
I just
completely
think
agree.
it
Did you
looks
know anything
really
about it beforehand?
absolutely not. No, you completely surprised me with this.
So, do you know anything about the filmmakers?
Nope, nothing.
Okay, so as a little bit of an intro, did you say the title? And so
No, I
what
did.
this film's actually
Uh,
called?
Let me see if I can remember it.
Go on then.
Synchronicity? Something.
Synchronic.
Synchronic.
Yeah.
I
So,
just I just felt like putting Chris in it because of my ego.
well, that's it. I mean, you try and do that with everything, right? Yeah. For nearly 10 weeks, you've been trying to work out how to do it with Candyman, and it's not really worked out. So, yeah, it's called Synchronic. It's from filmmakers called Benson and Moorhead. They are Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, to be more precise. They are the filmmakers behind a film that came out a couple of years ago now, I believe, called The Endless, which is fantastic. They've also made films called Spring and Resolution. I think Resolution was the first film they made. I saw Spring and Resolution years and years ago, but I really enjoyed them films. I need to go back and watch them actually. The Endless, absolutely love, and now this. They always deal with you'll really like them because, like you said, you're interested in time and kind of a sci-fi spin
Mm.
on horror. That's just what they deal with. They deal in time. They deal in cults. They deal in very, very Lovecraftian ideas in the proper way, and I mean that in the sense of I feel like a lot of stuff is marketed as Lovecraftian, yet it's purely because there's some kind of like tentacle monster in it,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
because it actually deals with the themes that Lovecraft
Yeah. Yeah.
was touching on. These guys, they do that very well. They do it very well. So, and their films kind of tie together. So, yeah, if you haven't seen them or if you've
How
seen
do you
one,
mean? Do you mean they exist in the same universe, or like
yes.
the
So,
themes tied together?
yeah. So Spring, I'm not so sure about. But Resolution and The Endless, they definitely tie together, like really, really tie together. So yeah, hunt them out, go and watch them. They're fantastic. You'll really, really enjoy them. And but the thing with those films is they're all quite low budget, especially the first two. They got a bit more of a budget for The Endless. Definitely used it to their advantage. This looks like it's even more so, because now they've got two proper Hollywood actors in there, in Anthony Mackie and who's the other guy? Jamie Dornan. I think I can't remember. He was in isn't he the guy from 50 Shades?
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, I think so.
Ah,
Yeah, I think so. So these are guys that
didn't
are,
recognize him without the leathers.
of course. Yeah, I mean, if he hasn't got the whips and the bondage, he's unrecognizable. These, the great thing with having actors like this will bring a lot more eyes to their work than previously. Especially with Anthony Mackie. I mean, he's Falcon in the MCU. So
Mm.
hopefully this will draw a good few eyes to their work because they deserve it, man. They're probably some of my favorite filmmakers out there at the moment.
I didn't realize he was Falcon. I
Oh,
knew
really?
I knew
You
I
recognized
I
him? You were like,
recognized him.
where the hell is he from?
Um, I knew I recognized him like
Yeah,
strongly.
there you go.
Wow, that's surprised me.
Yeah, that's
No
what I mean.
no disrespect to like superhero films, but I thought certainly in the trailer the caliber of the acting from him
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
yeah,
he's a great
yeah.
actor.
I'm
Yeah,
slightly speechless actually.
yeah. Anthony Mackie is an outstanding actor. He really, really is. And I'm very, very excited to see what they do with this.
So, how do we see this? What are they doing with it?
So, from what I understand, it is, I think, getting a cinema release. I believe so.
Yes,
I
that's right.
believe it will be a short cinema release.
Mm.
So I believe it's going to. The trouble is, most of what I can find is American, right? So I'm not really sure how we're going to view this in the UK. But
Yes,
for our American listeners, this will release in drive-ins, which have picked up, which is
I'm
amazing.
so jealous.
Yeah, so am I. So am I. And yeah, for indoor theaters that are open on October 23rd, and then I believe there will be a VOD release that will follow that.
See, I reckon, I said before that Candyman was the kind of film that I would go to the cinema to see, and I think I'd do it for this as well. So, assuming it
Yeah,
does come out over here in the coming weeks or months, then
yeah,
that's a film that I would take myself to the cinema to see.
yeah. It's going to be exciting, man. And go and check out their other stuff because yeah, they're incredible, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Incredible
I know
acting.
I'm going to. I'm definitely endless. Did you say
The Endless
the
is
endless?
yeah. Oh, it might yeah. It is The Endless, I believe. Spring and Resolution.
Hopefully, something there is on one of the many uh, subscription
Yeah,
services I seem to be paying for these days.
yeah. I think Amazon Prime might have them all.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, they did at one point. So yeah,
Okay,
hopefully they
I'm
still
gonna
have.
check that out. I'm gonna check it
Definitely.
out.
All right, buddy. Let's move on to something that you teased a little while back after a door in my flat slam shut.
And the invisible person walking around behind
And the
me.
invisible person walking around behind you while you're recording. So this is so in America, Travel Channel does a lot of the like Ghost Adventure shows, all the different paranormal shows, and for the last few years they have done an annual Ghostober event. So the reason I wanted to bring this up, the reason I sent you this is I know you're a big fan of paranormal
I
shows.
am.
I am too, but I have a real love-hate relationship with them. I
Yeah.
know that a lot of our weekly listeners out there are big paranormal fans, and me and you have been debating every week about okay, how do we fit a paranormal show into this? How can we talk about a paranormal show? So, this come out this week. Travel Channel announced this. Really are going to do it over here. October is normally wall to wall paranormal shows. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just jump in, right? So go on, man. What
Well, there's a few that jump out at me that I'm really excited to see.
yeah,
Hopefully, we get these things over. The first one that I was really interested in was the Amityville. So they're doing a special with looking at the Amityville Horror House. It's called, and in America that's going to be on the 26th of October. Now, very specific reason why I'm interested in this. I'm not actually that interested in the Amityville horror films or even the story really, because my understanding was it's pretty. I know they say it's based on true events, but I thought that in later years people have kind of admitted to the fallacy of it.
yeah, they have. Yeah,
But
it's completely fake.
what I find interesting is there's going to be a rare interview with George Lutz, who's the
Yeah,
the family who moved into the house, but it's an archive one, so it's going to be from back
back in the day.
nearer to when it happened, and that's specifically what interested me about that is to watch that interview.
Yeah, from my understanding of it, it's all made up. It was all like a publicity stunt,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's what I thought as well.
yeah, it blew up beyond anything they thought they can manage. And before you know it, it's taken on
That
this
is
huge.
fact, isn't it? I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not
no, it's
imagining it
fact. Yeah, it's fact.
because it's a
There
great
is no.
example of where the truth is
Yeah,
no match for the
no,
mythology
no.
of it now.
They completely made it up. That the haunting wasn't real. They made it up for publicity. They made it up to. They basically made it up to get movie deals and book deals and to make money, and it worked. And
Well,
it works so well to the point where people still believe there is some truth in it. But I don't. I don't.
So, but
To me, it's
interesting
all
on that point. So they've made it up specifically for these reasons, so we believe. Have they done anything wrong in that
not
morally?
really,
You
not
know,
really. I mean, right. So this is that's a great segue right into kind of why I really wanted to speak about this. So, what are your views on paranormal shows, right? Because you're saying the guys that lived in the Amityville house. I think there was like some history around the house. I think someone maybe did die in the house, but there was no
yes, I think
haunting.
so.
There was no they like the people that then purchased the house then made that up, and they done it purely to write books and everything because that was like hot at the time, right? Like people were buying into that, and they're like, oh,
Yes, right.
we can make some money here. We've moved into a house where there's someone's died, and yeah, we can sell this to Hollywood, and that's exactly what they done. So yeah, your question, did they do anything wrong? I think you could expand that and say, what are your thoughts on paranormal shows? Do you think that everything you see is real? And if it isn't, are they doing anything wrong?
No, I don't think it is real. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I think people who watch those shows, and I include myself there, are watching these programs for a variety of reasons and coming from a variety of beliefs. So I absolutely don't think it's all real. That I wouldn't say I don't think any of it's real. I think I take it from an interest, enjoyment. I take it with a pinch of salt. I always look at it like this: at the end of the day, if you watch these programs, there's no way you will never know if they're faking it or not. And if you're going to the effort of watching it, you have to suspend that disbelief. You have to
Yes.
give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, it's always in your mind: is it real? Is it not? But if you don't give them that benefit of the doubt, there's no point watching it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely
Yeah.
no point watching it. You know, and I've seen some things on various different programs, paranormal programs, where I thought that's incredible. I don't know if
Yeah.
if they've not faked that, I can't explain it. And then at the flip side, I've seen lots of stuff where I thought, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah. 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 I'm exactly the same, man. So do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, uh, the
Yes or
jury's
no?
out, but
Yeah.
leaning towards yes.
Okay. So I'm in the middle, to be honest, as in I don't believe, but I also am not so confident that I can say they're not real. I don't think. I also don't think it's been proven though. I think like that's where these
Yeah, I
shows are
agree.
concerned. I feel there's. I don't feel like there's. I mean, there's stuff that's like creepy, and like you said, you gone. Okay, if they haven't faked that, no idea how they've done that. So there's some interesting stuff there. I think that sometimes I a bit like everything. I'm very interested from a psychology point of view. I think that
Yep.
paranormal shows in a weird way, right? Because in terms of like horror reality TV, there's nothing more popular, right? Like if you look at something like Ghost Adventures, which is the biggest and the baddest, that's been going now for like 20 odd seasons.
That's
It's been
crazy,
around
isn't it?
forever. It just keeps getting more popular. In my opinion, it's a little bit like modern day religion, right? And what I mean in that, before I
That's
lose
interesting.
everyone, yeah, before I
Yeah.
lose everyone, my opinion of that is, I believe that religion or the idea of heaven and the idea of something afterlife was purely a way to easily explain death,
Hmm.
because it's very, very hard to accept that someone dies and then that is it. And like I've been there before in my life, like when I was very young, when I was about 9 years old, my granddad died, and my granddad was like the most important person in the world to me, closer to me than like probably even my parents at the time, right? And that was weird for me because when he died, I was like, okay, is that it? Is that? And I was trying to find ways to explain it.
I mean, from my own personal perspective, I've seen quite a few things that I can't explain, like to have happened to me. Now, I would never, I can't go so far as to say it's paranormal, it's ghosts or whatever, but I certainly can't explain it. I can't explain, you know,
Yeah,
these experiences that I've had, and that's what keeps me open.
yeah,
That's what
it
keeps me
does. Yeah,
open to the
I do
concept,
find
really.
that concept. or the use of those words in these shows. I do find the way some people take that a little bit strange, because it's this: if you can't explain it, if you've had an experience that you can't explain, it's funny how people then jump to the idea of, well, that must be paranormal because you can't explain it, and by result, you're trying to explain it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're trying to say, well, you can't try and explain this by science, so it's paranormal. But in turn, you're explaining it by saying it's paranormal. Like why? Like I think there are a lot of things in this world that we are yet to understand
Exactly.
and yet to comprehend. I don't think that means it's paranormal. However, like with these shows, and we should touch on that, I watch these two, and I have a lot of fun with them, and I'm very curious to where they are. The reason I said I have a love-hate relationship with them is because there are certain avenues they go down, which I fully do not agree with, and I actually believe are quite dangerous. As in, there's a couple of shows that Ghost Adventures have done, especially in like recent seasons, where they approach people and design a whole show around someone who believes they're possessed or believes they are there is some possession within their house, some demon that is affecting them. And as someone like yourself, who is a big advocate for mental health, I think it's very clear watching these shows that these people are suffering with a mental health disorder and need the proper help for their safety and their family safety. And I feel like by going in and telling them a demon is causing all this, it is just doing more harm. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
one like Ghost Adventure show that I watched a little while ago, and it genuinely angered me because I thought it's clear that this woman needs professional help. And I don't know, maybe behind the scenes they explore that. I would like to think they do. That if you I would like to think that you're on the fence with both, right? That if you genuinely believe in this stuff and you believe it could be a possession, then you probably go down that road. But if that's not having any effect, and I would hope you would also go, well, okay, and maybe it is mental health, and we'll
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I feel it's very dangerous to be, and especially when that is quite undeniable that science has now proven that a lot of what we believed were possessions or demons are mental health issues.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's scientific fact. That's not in dispute, right?
Mm. Yeah, that's right. And I think, the position that they would take though as a counterpoint, not that I agree with it, is their counter to that would be, well, this is what we believe, and that's what they believe. And so, you know, who's anyone else to say that it's wrong? Now, I believe it's wrong, and same as you, but from their perspective, I don't believe they do think this. I think it's pretty obvious why they would do this. Um, but that's obviously the defense that they can have, isn't it? That
Yeah.
well, this is the show, this is what we believe, this is what that person believes. So what's the problem? But you're right, there is a problem because 9 times out of 10, I would say there is a real psychological issue that needs urgent help.
Yeah, it needs addressing. Yeah, I'm very interested to hear people's thoughts on this actually, because I think it can be quite a controversial subject,
It is,
and
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 I
maybe
do love
rightfully
the
so.
show. I do love the show, but there's got to be responsibility as well.
Yeah, there's just some decisions that are made that I don't know, like I'm not fully comfortable with, especially when I don't know, it's weird, right? Because the problem is it makes for great TV.
Yeah,
Like when you have someone that is coming across as possessed and they're going through these horrible ordeals. The truth is, it makes for great TV. And I think if you probably looked at the viewership figures for their shows, I think it would reflect that. And it's got to be right because they're doing more and more of them type of shows. There's got to be a reason they're doing more and more of them shows where they're focusing on single people and families and stuff. Even if you do believe it's a possession and you believe that's real and you believe you can go in and help that, I'm not so sure putting that on national TV is the right way to go about it.
yeah, no, I agree. And highly critical of this program I'm going to mention from here in the UK. But is it really any different to Jeremy Guile? Put in people who need help
Yeah,
center stage
yeah.
because it's good TV.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, isn't it? But Yeah, it's a topic we wanted to touch on for a while, man, and it's one that, a little bit more than a lot of stuff we touch on. I do really want people's opinions. I kind of feel it's like a little bit important, actually. I feel like there should be
Mm.
more of a dialogue around, is possession. I believe it is. I believe anyone that feels they're possessed is some form of mental health. I don't believe in possession at all. I feel like there is definitely some form of mental health. And also, like, people would argue, well, why do exorcisms work? Well, because they work on a mind that believes they're going to work. It's therapy in a way, right? Like, if you've been brought up all your life being told that possession is real and that all of your mental issues are created by possession, of course the answer would be someone, a priest coming in who is essentially God to you, right?
Mm,
Coming in
mm,
and
mm.
telling you, well, I've now fixed all your problems, I've now solved your problems. Like that, like mentally, maybe that's the thing that happens in your brain that goes, oh, okay, now I can get past these, because you've been programmed, right? You've been
Mm,
programmed all
mm.
your life to believe that's the only solution. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like there's definitely a good dialogue there. And you know what? Like I keep saying about, in the future we're going to be doing bonus episodes around topics people like us to speak about. I think this might be one, man, because me and you definitely have, like,
Yeah.
we have a love-hate relationship with these programs. We also are both huge advocates about mental health and very open about our mental health struggles. And so yeah, I think that maybe, yeah, we'll see. If people want it, let us know.
Yeah, and I think just to tie it back to the paranormal programs that they're releasing, I just want to mention the other one that I'm really looking forward to if we do get it, which I've never seen, is the Holzer Files. Have
Oh
you
yeah,
have you
okay.
have you seen these before?
No, I haven't. No.
Do you know anything about them? Because it's
No.
quite interesting. So Hans Holzer was, so some people call him the father of the paranormal, and he
Okay.
spent like 40 years investigating paranormal events, and it's been turned into a series, and I think the second series now coming. And his daughter released to the team literally a basement's worth of files and notes to see which of these cases they wanted to investigate for themselves, and they go back, and I think they try and recreate it, and they just do a deep dive investigation based on his notes. And I think there's lots he couldn't understand, there's lots that he disproved, and that kind of thing. It's very, very interesting. But what's really interesting is uh, the writer on the show and the main researcher who went through all of this stuff is Gabriel Roth, Eli Roth's brother,
Oh, interesting.
which is I thought was really interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I think because I actually I saw I listened to an interview with him. He was on Talk Is Jericho, and he was hoping in the second series he might get some airtime himself. But he's the researcher. He's the one who goes through all of this stuff with Hans
Oh,
Holzer's
that's
daughter.
cool.
Goes through it all and decides which ones are worth investigating.
That's cool. I like that. I like that. I'm very interested in the history,
Mm.
and then digging back through his older files. So yeah, very interested to see where that goes, man. Definitely, definitely. But yeah, like, I mean, yeah, this is obviously a hot topic, and something that maybe we'll discuss in the future. But also, if you do like these shows, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I know we keep saying this, but yeah, like what you want, guys.
Completely agree. I mean, maybe I've been slightly hard on them. I do really enjoy these programs. I do really enjoy them, and I don't for a second suggest that I don't believe in the
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
they talk about. I just try and keep a skeptical, open mind.
yes, yeah. Completely agree.
I
Completely agree.
suppose the position I come from is, say, you show it to me for myself, and I'll believe it.
Yeah, I think that's the same with everyone, though, and I think that's fair enough. I think that's kind of fair enough. I think like you said, there's enough that's happened on these shows where you go, okay, okay, that's interesting. Can't explain that. That's
I,
that's pretty cool.
the thing that annoys me though is when they get some really good stuff and then they bugger off somewhere else. I mean, I know it's edited,
Yeah,
to make a TV episode, when they've spent hours and hours and hours there. But if you get something, just stay there and keep doing it.
yeah,
And if you don't get anything, at least say that that's what you did. That's what makes
yeah,
me very skeptical about these things. You get something amazing. Oh, should we go to the farm now or something? And you think, no, stay there. I don't care. I want to see what happens next. I don't know why I said farm. I think I meant like stable or something.
All right, dude. I think we're let's leave it there because
Cool.
I can feel us going on all day about that. And
I'll just go on a massive tangent as well.
yeah, I know. But do you know what? We will. If guys, if you want a bonus episode, let us know and we'll jump on that. But Chris, that time of the week, my friend.
Yeah. Hey.
Here we are. Creepy link of the week.
Yep.
Go on, sir.
Had
Give it
you
your
seen it
intro.
before?
I have. This
Ah, I
one I
knew it.
have.
Damn, I knew you
Yeah.
might have done.
Yeah, this one I have, oddly
I
enough.
thought I thought it's one I've been toying with for a few weeks now. Okay, so
I'm so glad you done it though. I'm so glad you
really,
sent this. Yeah,
has it
yeah,
been a
because
while since you've seen it?
it's been years.
Yeah,
Like I saw this when
it's
it
been
first come out.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. So this is a music video to a track called "Come to Daddy" by Aphex Twin, and I mean, what can I say? It is like a short horror film. Very, very English. You know, it's recognisably an English estate,
Yes.
council estate that we have over here. I don't know what it'd be. The relevant thing would be in America,
It'd be like the projects, I think they're called in America.
and it's the first time I saw this. It was on a program called Band at Bedtime, and it scared the shit out of me. It really, really, really scared me. And I mean, the whole I'd never seen anything like it. So you've got, you know, is Aphex Twin's music is electronic, but this is a very drum and bass heavy one as well. But there's a lot of weird sound effects and dissonance in there as well.
Yeah.
And the whole story, if there is one, is there's this elderly lady. Her dog urinates on this abandoned television set, and then this entity appears, which I believe might be Richard D. James himself, who is Aphex Twin. All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, all these kids appear that have got his face. This is something that he's done before. He's done other music videos where they've got his face, but it's a really distorted, horrible version of his face. He doesn't actually look that bad in real life.
I'm
Um,
pretty sure the other video you're referring to is by the same director.
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
It is. But as well, his face appears on other albums and singles
Yes.
and that kind of
Yes.
thing. So these kids are running around, sort of terrorizing this elderly lady. And then the thing that does it for me is when this entity finally comes out of the TV, and it just starts screaming in her face.
Yeah.
And you've got that bright light on her and the wind blowing her hair back, and the scream, the jaw gets bigger and bigger, and the scream gets more and more high pitched until you think it can't go any more high pitched, and it keeps going. I just found that completely disturbing. Completely disturbing. I mean,
The
it's
whole thing
not.
is disturbing, man. Like back
I
to
mean,
front.
I, it's really difficult. I mean, it's I've not seen anything like it before or since.
No, no. I believe so the director of this is someone called Chris Cunningham,
Yes.
and I don't think he's directed anything in years, like years and years and years. So
I mean, that's a real shame.
yeah, I'm not sure why he stopped, but he was quite a prominent music video director. I know he's worked with Aphex Twin 2 or 3 times maybe. Videos are quite similar, but yeah, it's that really creepy, really unsettling style, back to front. And there's always like director's cuts of his videos as well, like the one you've sent me. He's worked, but you know, this guy's worked with like Madonna, Bjork. He's worked with like loads of people, but he's very known for that creepy style. I mean, I could be wrong, but for me, I think this video is the best example of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
man, it's back when like music videos were art, you know, like there was real art put into making a
yeah.
music
Yeah.
video, just creating something kind of yeah, just where kind of the music video stands up on its own. Like it works with the song, but you could take the song out and just have this really strange short film. You know, I always describe Marilyn Manson's music videos as the same thing. Like when
Do you know
I was
what? You
growing
know,
up,
I'm not a fan of his music, but his music videos are
right?
incredible.
Yeah, when I was growing up, man, I was more influenced by Marilyn Manson music videos week to week than I was films
Mm.
coming out. This may be better than them all, to be honest. This is so, so good.
In all honesty, I find it hard to put my finger on it. But
Yeah,
there's something
yeah, yeah,
about it
yeah.
that's really, it just sets it apart from everything else. I mean, there's no lyrics to speak of apart
No,
from "I want your soul" over and over again. I mean,
yeah, it's not lyrically, it's not a top of its game, is it? But my God, like, does it work? Like, it's just creepy. dude. It is just creepy. It just
I'm hoping you can find a still of the lady with the entity, for when you
yes,
put it on the video,
yes.
because it's horrible.
Oh, it's great, man. Like just the way it's shot, the colors, or
The
the lack
colours,
of
yeah,
colors.
everything
Really?
seems to have like this blue grey wash to
Yes.
it as well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very cold, very cold.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of perfectly captures that like English council estate.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and the,
always like
and the
cold and grey.
vulnerability of the elderly in those situations as well.
Yes. Exactly.
It doesn't look like the sort of place that the best of us would want to be hanging around, on
No.
our own.
No. And I think if like, especially for our listeners in the UK and for me and you, if you grew up around estates like that, as I didn't grow up in a council estate, but I, a lot of my friends and stuff did. So I would go there, and yeah, late at night, it's not somewhere where you want to be. And I think
Yeah,
if you grew up around that, something like this kind of hits home, actually.
it does. And I think, I mean, I did, and my mum still lives
Yeah,
in the same place, and wasn't a tower block. We had tower blocks, and it feels real. That's what
yeah,
makes it so real. I think we mentioned this before. It's the same as the Enfield Poltergeist Conjuring film.
right, yeah,
It's so I can hang on to it so because it's so recognizable to me
yeah,
because it's English.
yeah. It's right there, isn't it? And it perfectly captures that. It's not like English in a very oversaturated. Yeah,
It genuinely looked. Some of the footage could have been on like ITV News and stuff.
yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, it's almost like they have taken that. They've taken a horrible story you would see on the news and then added real horror elements to it. I think it works great. I would love to see more stuff like this. I really would.
It's one of those videos that I mean I did watch it again before I sent it to you,
Yeah,
just to make sure it was as horrific as I remembered, and it is.
it is.
It's
It
not
is.
one that I would rush to watch again.
No, no, it's definitely it's very unsettling. It's not. Yeah, it's not a video you will put on loop. Definitely not.
No,
Definitely not.
but hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it, if that's the right word.
Oh man, yeah, I really did. Like I said, I do love creepy stuff like this, and like I said, I haven't seen it in years, so it was good to go back and yeah, and watch this, especially as it's the director's cut, so it's a little bit longer than the version you may have seen on TV.
It is, yeah.
It's good, man. Really good one. Yeah, well done again, sir. You are out creeping yourself every week.
Excellent. I'm really pleased.
All right, man. So looking to head to next week, we've kind of already decided what we're going to do. So next week is our 10th episode. Can't believe we've already been doing this for 10 weeks. Absolutely amazing,
It's flown
really.
by, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's flown by. It's absolutely crazy. I can't believe we're on 10 episodes already. So yeah, episode 10 is going to be a special Fright Fest preview, because Fright Fest have just announced their lineup for their big October event, which is returning to Leicester Square, but I do believe there's going to be a virtual edition of it too. I know a lot of people are calling for that, and I can imagine. Look, they've got to have that as a
Interesting.
backup
I didn't
plan
know
anyway.
that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they haven't announced it, but I think that's because so many people have been calling for it. Like I was looking at like comments on Twitter, and so many people were saying that they don't want to travel down to London. That you would have to stay in a hotel. Also, like there's not
Mm,
really any social experience to it, because like how is everyone going to go to like the pub afterwards, and
yeah,
do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it just doesn't really work like that. So I know there's a lot of people that are just saying like, is there going to be a virtual edition? And I've seen a couple of the festival directors kind of comment and said like Noose is coming soon. So I don't know if it's going to be the whole thing. Hopefully by next Friday, next Thursday, Friday, when we normally record these, it will be out and we can see.
Do you know what? I've said this before, but we've really got our finger on the pulse, because what we mentioned this before. I'm sure we did, that the way to go would to be have a mix
Yes, we
in
did. Yeah,
person and digital version.
yeah, we did. Yeah.
We're gonna have to start charging, Scott.
I know, I know. People are obviously listening and taking our suggestions. So crazy. All right, guys, we will see you next week for that special Fright Fest edition. I'm looking forward to it. There is a couple of really good films that are going to be playing. And yeah, dude, thank you for joining me once again. It's been a ball,
Awesome.
man.
It's been great.
All right, horror hounds. Till next week. Stay safe.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.